Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking each and every one of the Godzilla movies. First, before I get right into it, I just want to say I just went to go see Godzilla Minus yesterday. And I absolutely loved it. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. That's just all I have to say is that movie was amazing. It really was. And, so this is not a single movie review. I am going to come out with I am going to come out with my movie review, but not yet. That's for the future. But in today's video, I am going to be ranking the Godzilla movies. Someone who wanted a shout out in my family was my Uncle Danny, so shout out to you, Uncle Danny. His name is Daniel Trimberger, so shout him out. He wanted a shout out, and let's get right into the video. So starting with number 14, I had to bring you close just to know how bad this movie is. Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters is the most dragged out movie I think I've ever seen. It's either that or the first Avatar. Like the second Avatar, it was honestly pretty good. The first one I did, oh my gosh, it just felt so dragged out. This one though, I just wanted it to end the moment it started. You never see Godzilla. All Godzilla does is walk like this. That's literally all you see him do. And then the one moment you see him do anything is some lazy beam. Although he's probably the most powerful Godzilla, he's easily the most boring Godzilla. Like, he's literally the entire movie is just like he just walks slow. That's all he does the entire movie. It is so just bad. And it comes in at number 14. Oh, but I know the name says every Godzilla movie. It's all the Godzilla movies I've seen. So that's all I have to say. That's one thing I have to say about this. Is that I've only seen 14. I know there's like over 35, but whatever. So that's Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. Easily the worst Godzilla movie. Never gonna see another Godzilla movie. I'm never gonna watch the sequel to that movie. It was so bad. And I haven't seen the 1998 one. I think I have seen it. I just don't really remember it. So I'm not including that either. And I haven't seen the 2005 King Kong. Okay, so coming in at number 13, I think you guys might hate me for this, but it's Godzilla 1954. Go roast me down in the comments. I watched it once, and it was my first time watching a movie in subtitles, so maybe it was that. I'm probably going to have to rewatch it because I've seen a lot more movies in subtitles ever since then, which it's only, like, I think 13. It's not a lot, but I've definitely gotten better at reading subtitles, so yeah, it's not that, I think if I were to rewatch it, I'd probably appreciate it more, but dang, was it boring for me. It was so boring. Like, this movie was so boring. It was just officials, talk, and then Godzilla comes, like, twice in the movie. I love it when we do get Godzilla, like, the final minute of the movie, the guy with the eye patch, Dr. Serizawa, yeah, he honestly did really, I think that he was easily my favorite character in this movie, and I think that the final minutes of the movie were amazing, but they weren't amazing, but they were okay, but that's what I think of this movie. It was just boring, and I know everyone's gonna hate me. If I get popular in the future, people are gonna look back on this and say, I'm probably gonna like this. If I like this movie more, I'm gonna say I was such a stupid 11-year-old. If I get popular, I don't know. Next up is coming in at number 12. Technically, I'm also including Mothra from 1962. Yeah, 1962. Mothra movie was, I mean, it was not that good. It was just not that good. I really just didn't like it. Sure, Mothra rampaging through Tokyo was cool, or whatever she rampaged through. That was cool, but other than that, the movie was whatever. Coming in at, well, it did introduce the twins who are always talking in sync, which is kind of weird. Like, I really don't think of them as two separate people. They're always talking in sync, so they have the same exact personality, so it's kind of weird. So let's just move on. Coming in at number 11, we have Godzilla King of the Monsters. Not the 1956 American redone version of Godzilla 1954. I've never seen that and probably never will. The American newest version of Godzilla King of the Monsters, and this one's the CGI in this movie is amazing. It's just how stupid the characters are and how much I hate them. Like, the girl, they make her seem like she had a sacrifice at the end of the movie, the mom. It makes no sense. There was no reason of her having to drive off. All she had to do was she could set it on top of, like, the gas of the car and quickly run, get in the plane, and go her merry way. And survive, and then, it's honestly better without her, because her thinking that it's okay to set monsters off and kill people, but then when she found out that more monsters were killing people, she was like, oh, maybe this is so bad. Maybe this is bad. That's just the part that makes this number 11 on this list, is that the story is so bad. Other than the fighting, like when you do get Godzilla, it's amazing. But when it's the human stuff, it's just like, what are you doing, MonsterVerse? There's only 2 good movies that actually make me like the characters. So, yeah, this comes in at number 11. It was just, sure, I'll probably watch this more than some of the movies above it, because the other ones are just better. But I think I'll watch this one more just because it's a little harder to watch the ones in Japanese more. But it's just not that good. It's just hard to watch this one. Well, no, it's easier to watch this one than the other ones, is what I mean. It's just this human stuff was absolutely atrocious. Coming in at number 10, we have Ghidorah, the Three-Headed Monster. This one was okay. I guess this is the first movie we could call good. Well, actually, King of the Monsters is good just because of the action part. So this one, the final battle was pretty good, where Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra team up. It was honestly not that bad. But other than that, it was just nothing. I don't really have anything to say about this one. I'm just going to move on. Number 9. So I think 9 and up is actually pretty good movies. Number 9 is Mothra versus Godzilla. And this one is actually pretty good, I think. Mothra versus Godzilla, I like the part where I kind of made my own version of the red juice they have in this movie that they drink on the island. So I'll probably make a video on how to make that. I don't know, it wasn't that good. So, yeah, it was pretty good, if I am being honest. So I enjoyed this one. Godzilla in it's great. Mothra's in it great. Way better than Mothra. But so yeah, this movie's honestly overall a pretty good movie. Coming in at number, I think that 8 and up is honestly probably great movie. Is what you could call a great movie. Number 9 and till 11 were okay to good movies. But the rest on this list are great movies. So coming in at number 8 is King Kong versus Godzilla. Not the newest one, from 1962. This one's pretty great, if I am being honest. The final battle was really good. I only can watch this through YouTube, and I think it's the American version. I'm not completely sure. But I know this movie, it's pretty great. So it's just pretty great. The battles you get with Godzilla, the first few were kind of meh, but the last one was pretty good. So that's what I have to say about this one. And moving on to number 7, we have our second MonsterVerse movie, and that is Kong Skull Island. This one is it's a really good movie. I don't know why I did that. It's just a great movie is what it is. It's a great movie. The battles we have with the skull crawlers are really good. And King Kong, this movie is amazing. It comes in at number 7. I'm trying to speed this up because I just kind of want to have a little bit of a shorter video because the battery power is running out of power. Yeah, no, I can't check on it. Okay, so next up, coming in at number 6 is Godzilla Raids Again. And Godzilla Raids Again was underrated as frick, in my opinion. You get a nice amount of action, which is the part that I find to be very underrated. And then the story is honestly pretty good, and the characters in this one I kind of liked. The sacrifice at the end of the one guy, I don't really remember any of the names of these guys. That's the one part about the Japanese ones is it's hard to remember the names. But I do like the characters in this one. So this one comes in at number 6, and it was honestly not that bad. Coming in so now we are getting into my top 5. Coming in at number 5, which is, I could maybe even go for an amazing movie. Not amazing. It's not amazing, but it is really good. And that is King Kong from 1933. And this movie, it's not as good as some people will say, but I do know how much it changed how movies are made. And this movie, a lot of movies have this to thank. Like, I don't even think any of these movies would be made. If this movie was not made, I'm not sure if many others of the movies on this list would be made. That's how inspirational this movie was. Now, that's just the part you need to know. And on the other hand, it's a great movie. It is honestly a great movie, if I am being honest. And I found the stories to be great. Other than the part where Kong's pretty creepy to Andarwo. Other than that, the movie's amazing. I'm not sure if it's quite amazing, but it is great. So I'm just gonna give the top 5 a score out of 10. This one I am giving an 8 out of 10. Coming in at number 4, that was a weird way I did that like that. Coming in at number 4 is Shin Godzilla from 2016. So when I first watched this, for some reason, it was so hard to be able to keep track with all the subtitles and stuff. I was just like, gosh, this is hard. And then the second time I watched it, I still gave up halfway through, and I'm like, and then so I had to get it in the English version, and then so I watched it like that, and man, was it good. It was kind of a bore. It's just the scenes that have some of the best Godzilla scenes we've ever seen. If those were not in this movie, I don't think this would be at number 4. It might even be way lower on the list. But it was a great movie. And it comes in at number 4. I'm just trying to get past these soon. The death of the Prime Minister, though, was surprising. I wasn't expecting for them to do that. And now we are this one gets an 8.5 out of 10. Coming in at number 3, we have Godzilla vs. Kong. And this one, it was really good. It was my favorite MonsterVerse movie for a while, until it got thrown by my number 2 spot on this list. And it was pretty good, if I am being honest. The action is good. The human element, not that good. It's kind of like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, but this one I just find a lot better because it's also shorter, which doesn't always make it the best, but I think this one was really good, and it comes in at number 3 with an 8.7 out of 10. It gets on my list. Coming in at number 2 is Godzilla 2014, and it's hard ranking all of these because this one I found to be very good, when I watched it. It's a very good movie and underrated, if I do say. But it was just a really good movie. And comes in at number 2 with an 8.8 out of 10. I found the human element in this movie probably to be the best of any of the MonsterVerse movies. None of them comes even close to number 1, though. I don't think any of these movies really come close to number 1. But I'm just going to say, Godzilla 2014 had probably an over $100 million budget. Godzilla versus Kong probably had an over $100 million budget. Godzilla King of the Monsters probably had over $100 million budget. And probably so did Kong Skull Island. But my number 1 had a $15 million budget, and yet it was able to top all of those movies. And that is Godzilla Minus 1 from 2023. Dare I say this is a perfect movie? This movie, like, I got sad when spoiler warning, when they showed, once again, I don't really remember all the names. When the girl who died, I got sad when she died. And then later in the movie, when I found out she lived, that scene at the end really, I think I almost cried, if I'm being completely honest. But the human element in this movie was good, but something that a lot of people would say is that they wanted more human than Godzilla. Not too much on that level. I am not completely agreeing with them. But the human element in this movie, I got sad when she died, and I almost cried in that last scene. Although when he was crying, I was kind of like, the little girl was like, "Why are you crying? Go take me to my mom." Is like, as she was looking at her dad, she was like, "Why are you crying? Let me see my mom. Like, take me to her, or else just let me go and let me go to her," is basically what I thought in that scene. But then at the same time, the amount of emotion he was probably filled with was a lot. But that scene, it had me. And the cliffhanger at the end was really good. But just the moment where Godzilla uses his atomic breath was maybe my favorite movie moment in the theater ever. Because, oh my gosh, was it amazing. Both times he used his atomic breath was just like, oh my gosh. Every time he used it was just like, it got goosebumps. I was not scared of Godzilla as a lot of people were. Bro can't move for anything, though, is one part that I thought he was going to be a little bit faster than he was, but he wasn't. So this movie, it comes in at number 1 by a mile with, might be a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9.8 for now. But in the future, if I watch it a couple more times, it could become a 10 out of 10. So Godzilla Minus 1 comes in at number 1 by a mile. Maybe it's recency bias. I don't know. No, it's not. It's not recency bias. This movie is just better. And it just brought Hollywood to shame. And this movie easily comes in at number 1. I absolutely loved it.